Hey guys, it's Zach. Today I'm going to look over some work holding. I've had some questions from clients, kind of some concerns, things like how can I show the operator, or how can I represent how I'm going to hold the part so they can see more details outside of just a setup sheet, what tools to use and like where to put the offsets. So I think that's kind of concern with some people, which that's fair, especially on more tricky parts. So here I got a couple examples of just some things I've made, a couple of parts I've actually worked on. But so here, this is just kind of an idea I had. But in this situation, say this would be the jaws, and these are little insert pieces. Again, it's just kind of an idea I've had to be able to potentially hold a square and round at the same time and have some adjustment. And you would see all this in the simulation as well. Here's a couple of stuff for the AR10. I've had another video on this, not really covering the work holding specifically, but this would be for operation 2. So if the profile was already cut out on that lower receiver, you have a couple of pins to kind of help orient the part. You got some cutaways here for clearance to get in a machine, and I'll actually run a simulation of that so you can see a couple of pins to align the jaws to each other. And then I have, let's say, a 4th axis idea. So this would be, the purple piece would be the main plate that would bolt to the 4th. And this, let me hide some of this. So this is actually, I think this one's a Mighty Bite, but multiple people make idea expansion clamps like this. So, and a lot of people have the models provided on their website. So you can go in and download it. So I didn't actually model that up. I just brought that in and placed it where I wanted to. So the idea with that is to have this clamp. It's kind of like a split bushing to go around there, which would set inside the trigger guard snugly. And as you tighten that screw, this clamp expands out, forcing this to make contact on these surfaces to hold that in place. I think I had a couple of pins in there. I'm not sure which layer they're on, and again, this would be represented as long as I have it shown. You would see it in the simulation, so you could check for collision and everything. But this just goes to show you, I can model in everything. It really doesn't matter how I'm holding the part or what we're doing. I mean, if I need to model it in, I can. It's usually for more complicated stuff. You want to have it all built out. If you're just holding stuff in jaws or just clamping it down in a couple spots, you don't really need it. But you can represent it if needed. And I brought this Kurt Weiss in here. Just went to their website and downloaded a model. These jaws are a little big, but just to prove a point, you can put them in here. So I could have the vise, and you can have everything in place of exactly how it's going to be set up on the machine. So that's the same part and jaws that I showed a minute ago. I just put them in place on this vise. So again, this is just a little clamp piece. This is from Car Lane. But most of these people provide the models, like that Kurt Weiss, that Mighty Bite clamp. This is Car Lane. So if it's a clamp you're using and you know what it is, you can go to the website and get the model. And you're not having to sit here and try to model this stuff up. So this is the Kurt Weiss, just as I got it off the website. So I just got rid of some of this and moved this jaw back and added in the jaws that I had made. Just kind of show you, you have full control over all of this. So this is back to the AR lower. I'm going to run the simulation on this. That's the same jaws that I just went over. But here it has the part, and I can show you all the toolpaths in the simulation. Give it a second to load here. But those are all reasonable concerns. Because that is the bigger problem, certainly on a difficult part, is to be able to represent in detail. And on top of doing this, I can make a video like I'm doing now to walk through all the steps. So to work as an additional setup, because setup sheets are great, but stuff like that, it is hard to describe, what you actually have in mind and how you want to hold it. So here I can make it exactly perfect. Okay, so that's the jaws you see here in the part, and this area here would be what would be left over from Op 1. It's basically what we held on to in Op 1. I'm going to run kind of quickly through this because I'm not concerned with the toolpath. But you can see I have the jaws modeled in a way to clear, so I can get down here and cut all this and not butcher the jaws. You know, go ahead and make them in advance and have the clearance needed to do this. And again, if you make it all part of the workpiece and have all your collision settings on, it'll show you. Just like if you wrap it into the part, I mean, if you wrap it down out here, it's going to see that you're wrapping into what you have set as your workpiece. So I hope this kind of can at least be a good example and maybe clear things up if that's a concern that you have, because it is. I mean, it's true. You want to be able to represent this to whoever it is setting up. So let me know if you have any questions about this or if you would like any more examples, and I can show you that. Thank you.